learned from the lesson. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it down, we gon' get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your watches coming in on May 28, 2020, and the stock market has diverged from the yuan, the Chinese currency. We've been talking about that, but that is important. I have more updates on that for you guys. But after hours, the House has passed sanctions, and they're sending it to Trump's desk to sign. So pretty much this is our end of the week sanction news. So now, what was the reaction? Stocks went up after hours. We saw a different, not a muted reaction out of some of the Asian stocks. We have to talk about the yuan and what it did, but we had a very positive day today, 553 points on the Dow. And then we saw that indicator weaken, the Chinese currency. You saw the same exact thing as yesterday. Rotation into banks and value stocks. Tech has been selling off 2 days in a row. And a lot of news, but not really news. So we got a bunch of news in the morning off of China, then nothing really throughout the day. But then a lot of news has been coming out pretty much overnight in the morning. So be on the lookout for that. But we are already at Thursday tomorrow because of the short week. So we have pretty much this China stuff in focus. But the reason why we went up today, and man, there's a lot of stuff we need to talk about. It was because of what we talked about yesterday. There was a lot of these renewed hopes of a better than expected recovery, and it doesn't necessarily mean things have to be a lot better, but the estimates that when we were back at 220 on the SPY, I think, or was it 220 or 320? It has to be 320. I'm tripping. No, 220. It's still very surreal, but the expectations were really bad. So some companies, like we saw today, that was important. So we have a lot to go over, and I have a bunch of plays. There's a lot of good plays I'm expecting, or at least some movement in volatility we will see. But again, the days have been kind of muted unless it's been news-driven. But got the plays, got the keys, everything else. Go over all the plays we made today. So let us not delay. You guys know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It's the first link in the description, and it is pinned in the comments. We better see you there in the morning. It's free 99. It costs you nothing to join. YouTube.com/thestockmarket. You could post the plays, see the plays, ask about the plays. You could meet somebody new. People really like to tell you where they're from if you ask. So, I mean, and just don't spam it and just keep it positive and respectful. And I love you, Chad, okay? And the most important thing you need to do, post your watches below. Let us know what you're looking at. You got any plays, comments, remixes, anything, post it below. We need to source information. I get it. You don't comment on YouTube videos. You don't do that. Yeah, I get it. Okay, but listen, this isn't passive. You need to post it and source it. Anything. It's anonymous. It's YouTube. Just say it. I'm sorry. I'm just really excited with the random account generator. Again, we do that on Monday, so don't get too out of hand. But yeah, okay. I love you. God bless you. Right off the bat, though, this is the main thing we've been looking at. Again, I told you about it already here in the beginning. The sanctions got passed. It's on Trump's desk. And this is that end of the week sanction news that we talked about yesterday. Now, earlier today, throughout the day, and there was a reaction. We looked at the yuan. We brought it up. And again, the yuan's at 717. So if you aren't familiar with this is the Chinese currency. I'm not going to give the lesson again. But we talked about this yesterday. So this is a breaking point. I mean, earlier today, it was at 719 in the morning, and that was when this news started dropping. Then it chilled out through the rest of the day, but this is at a danger point, and this is showing you that this situation is escalating. If anything, but the fact that this is weakening now and the market went up, that is important. That is the divergence, and what does that mean if it's diverging? This is the leading indicator for now. It's very easy to jump the gun on this, but pretty much, like I said, if this trend keeps going and it breaks those levels or even coming into next week, this will be a leading indicator, and that could tell us a lot. So that was important, but then the news that came out was that Trump said he's going to consider removing Hong Kong's exempt status from the tariffs and the trade war, but that was a soft rebuttal. Surprisingly, the yuan reacted a little bit to it, and then throughout the day, there was, again, just more and more of this China-type news, but the fact that it was already weak was not good in general, but I thought this was a soft reaction, and this wasn't the escalation I was expecting to move the market, but that news came out after hours. The market went up after hours, and that's what I'm saying. Pay attention to how these stocks moved after hours. Again, the main market overall, it took a little move and then came back down, but you could kind of see that the China stocks really were not having it. And it could just be not fully digested yet, or really the effect is going to come when he signs it. And we want to see, what's he going to come with? Is he going to sign it? Is he going to hit him with the soft Hong Kong exemption thing? What is he really going to do? Because right now, the signal is pretty soft. And the fact that the China stocks aren't moving is, again, uncertainties there. The U.S. market's doing its thing, and that's good, again, especially if we're trying to make a play on that. But up until that signing, we're going to watch out for that so things could get exciting. But now, even for tomorrow, I am expecting a little bit of excitement because there was good Boeing news. Boeing after hours, and again, it's the same thing we saw today with all of these rotations with the bank stocks. Like Wells Fargo's up 6%. All these bank stocks did very, very good. But now Boeing, another big Dow component, they had this news that they are returning the 737 to back. I can't even say it because it's so weird. I don't know how to they're doing the 737 MAX. I guess production is getting restarted. But this was positive news. And again, they're up 8% total from today, but even then this after hours move. But take a look here. I mean, this is a crucial point. If we played Boeing before, it could get a little bit crazy. And as this news digests, again, happened after hours, you're hearing about it now. Think about all the investors who are going to hear about it throughout the day. Think about the people who are going to be in the morning, then the people who are going to wake up at like 10, 11, 12, then the people who get the Robinhood news like 4 hours late and they think it's coming out now. Then you're going to go then think the next day again. So this could be digestion, but if the market takes this positive at this breaking point, it could be good. So I'm going to like that. And at the very least, regardless of any China stuff, if Boeing is going to go up 8% and then keep killing it tomorrow, that is going to add a huge buffer on the market. So expect bullishness from that. And again, if we do get the continued rotation in general, but now, like we said, the Yuan diverged, and I still like this, but what I'm also going to be looking for tomorrow is this better than expected recovery. And we saw that. That was why the market went up. But you even saw that today. We made a play on Micron. We thought it was like an earnings leak, but it was just the updated guidance. They filed a new 8K saying that they're actually upping the guidance. Remember, they didn't give guidance on the last quarter. So now they gave guidance and they're like, hey, it wasn't that bad. The stock went up. But this is what brought the market up in general, not just Micron, but this concept in general, because I've been talking about this the last few days because we've been seeing it. Select data points have been coming out, and then even specific companies, it is better than expected. But at the same time, in this stage, the market is hypersensitive, so it could jump the gun and be like, okay, we like this, but then we could quickly see bad data. However, it's being flexible in that sense. I mean, I guess if you're trading the options at least, but we have a lot of reasons for excitement tomorrow, again, with these stocks and everything. But this one thing is going to be key. Even if it goes against the positions, I like it. Because even if the market goes up, but this situation escalates, and if the Yuan breaks up, again, I was surprised to what it did yesterday. Again, I said this yesterday. I think the China stuff's important. I can't be wrong. I was super early on this stuff to begin with already. I've already lost money chasing it. So keep that in mind. But at the same time, I do like it. And that is really what I'm looking for, is if the Yuan surprises and keeps just weakening, that is going to be my go-to signal for it. So I like it despite some of the positions not really working out as expecting. The fact is, or not even, again, like the Babas, like they're just holding values pretty much. And even some of them went up, but not as much. They didn't go crazy yet. Again, news is coming out, and it's not really the hardest escalation news I'm looking for. The fact that the Yuan went up kind of just shows me that even if I didn't make money on them, I'm on the right track. So that's why I'm saying if the Yuan does break out and go crazy, even with markets are up, that could maybe offer a good opportunity to get some steals. But we have to see what the policy is. Again, you're already seeing how we could get surprised with pricing and then what actually comes out. So again, policy is the main determinant of future pricing and value, at least in this marketplace. Again, I value that heavily with my investments, but especially in this marketplace right now with this type of news, that is the key. So watch what actually happens and then compare that to the pricing and expectations. But that is pretty much it. Again, be on the lookout for tomorrow. I think it's going to be fun. So hopefully we see you on stream, but we have a lot of plays to go over. So let us get into the plays. Right off the bat, we did the Zoom play. I did this one right there in the morning. This was the first one. I brought it up yesterday, but I grabbed 5 of these 50 puts for August for 40 cents. So I spent $200. Again, I spent a little bit more. This wasn't on the small account. Again, we haven't made a small account play. We've been riding it up. So again, if you guys are trying to build this small account, I mean, that's good. I mean, we love it. Again, but you can't chase everything. You got to pick and choose. We're riding out that NVIDIA position that actually worked with us, that credit spread. We were up on it a lot more, but That being said, I'm using my other account. So small account, guys, don't worry though. Spreads and events. If you don't know what that means, go watch those videos. But I grabbed these Zooms. Like I said, they've been up a lot in general. And with this better than expected recovery, I mean, I think you guys get the logic at this point. If there is in fact a better than expected recovery, therefore the use value of Zoom is overestimated essentially because people aren't going to need it as much. That's why they were using it in the first place. But that's like a longer term type of news. And so I know at the second level, you're seeing a rotation between growth and value. That's what I'm starting to see here. Again, companies like Zoom and another one I'm going to be looking for tomorrow. We're already in a play, but this one really stood out to me, Roku. I mean, you guys, this had a dangerous point. This is a big growth company. It's selling off. So again, the industry's good in the sense of it's a big growth stock. It's moved up a lot. People might want to rotate out, but if there is stuff better than expected, I wouldn't be surprised to see people kind of lose some of the hype here. And again, like we said yesterday, some of these new services coming out by Facebook, Google, Instagram, all that. So I grabbed these 50 puts super far out of the money. Literally, it's like that's a ridiculous drop. So I got them for 40 cents. The idea here is either they really do sell off and come down here again. They were at a really low point and went crazy, or the idea is with enough time, if there is a big move or if there is guidance changes or anything with them, people really start to sell it off. We could flip the premium and I could at least sell it, get my initial investment back, and then hold some of those for free with who knows what happens even towards the end of the year. But I like it. It was cheap enough. I had time, but very far out of the money. So that does tell you about the quality of that play. Then the next play I got today was Baidu, and I just wanted to get a little bit more of them. I was looking at Baba, but Baba was kind of expensive. Again, I got more time on it. I did one over here at 75 cents because I said this yesterday was a liquid. So what did I do? I threw one in at 75 to see what I would get filled at. I got filled on it at 75, and then with the big position I wanted to make, again, and hopefully you understand what I'm doing out here, it's feeling it out. But I came over here to the Tasty, and then I got the real position here, the main one. I got 5 of them, then I got filled pretty much 10 cents less. So that's what happens. And again, be cautious when you guys are getting any of these China stocks. The chains are liquid, and that is even part of my thesis that makes me like it. But again, it's the Baidu August 60 puts, again, super far at the money, pretty much similar logic to Zoom, but instead of this Zoom thesis, it's more or less this China sanctions and policy news that's giving me the justification, but far at the money, didn't spend as much. I'm just trying to get time on that. This is even just scaling in, and again, because I could build around this. And I already have, because I'm down like 90% on some old June contracts. You guys remember these? We got clap. Again, we've taken losses on this account. So, I mean, this was at 100,000 at the end of March. But we knew, again, the cash balance has been my thing. As long as my cash balance is there, I set my limit. And again, most of the rest of that 20K is just in open plays, give or take. But we had these Baidus for June. I'm in them. I scaled it. Again, I said I've been early on this China shit. So this one's running out of time, but I use this as a place marker to pretty much get more time and kind of just keep my head in the game in there, or hand in the cookie jar, and then build around as the news, the play develops, anything of that nature. So that was the second play. I like it. I just like all this China stuff. I do like the Zoom idea because it's kind of unique in that sense. But then another play I went a little bit bigger here again, June 19th, but I got them cheap. So I got 50 contracts at 5 cents. I spent $250, but Twitter, and they censored Donald Trump, or some people said not censored it, but I called it discrimination at the end of the day because they're only doing it to him and not every other politician. But fact is, the fact you could even argue it was a controversial measure, and Donald Trump has responded, and he said he pretty much sent warning shots at him today, and it did affect the stock. Again, it's hard to tell because a lot of stuff sold off today, and I think we should watch some of these social media stocks with this type of news in the background. But again, you are seeing this rotation out of tech, so we don't know what that 3.5 was. It did have a big spike after hours, but I got these plays. Again, this is a full premium play because if that news develops, we saw that news, and if it escalates and goes fast, he tweeted it. It was a tweet in the morning. That's why we played it. Large quantity, cheap price if the IV went good, but I want time on it again. It did double up pretty quickly, but I'm still holding that because I like it. I like these premium plays, especially if it goes crazy. So I'll swing it $250, and then finally Micron July calls, $60 calls at 30 cents. I got 5 of them, $150 July. That was off of that news today that we talked about with the better than expected stuff. Where is it? Oh man, I don't even have it up here. Micron, but again, they started ripping up today, and they held up there. Wow, they're even going up more after hours. So it was a big move, but remember, they didn't put guidance. They released it. So we reacted very, very quickly. I thought the premiums were a little bit high, but again, got time, kept it cheap. Or, the play's somewhat bigger. I spent like $150. You could go smaller, but at the end of the day, it's still not that bad. But if you remember, I don't really always trade these big of amounts. Again, we are still playing with a lot of profits on there. And again, some of the premiums are a lot higher right now with this volatility. So we're adjusting, but that's why we are passing up on a lot of stuff too if we do miss it. But we got good timing on these, responded to the news. So I'm holding that one, going to be holding those. But I still think if any of these, I think Twitter will be a decent play if that social media news picks up. The Baidu, the China thesis in general, I like the Zoom. The Zooms, I think, are the same price. The Micron, you're going to be too late on that. We're already up, I think, 100% on those. And same thing with the Twitter out of the money, so be careful with that. Hopefully, if Twitter doesn't react tomorrow and you could get them cheaper than what I paid, I would go after something cheaper, but don't buy in the hype, because, again, I'm trying to sell hype. That is my exit plan. The only way I really want that to get hyped up so I could profit off the contracts off of IV, because it is far out the money. But finally, Boeing, they are, I'm going to look for calls on them tomorrow. So again, I said watch them. We explained the logic, but that's going to be a call side play. I don't know what. I have to look at the premiums, but the idea is going to go, I'm going to try to go for short term and then one with time as well too. And then finally, NK, we played this one earlier today on stream. Again, they had like medical supply news that they're doing a deal to like distribute stuff. This is just like INO, SRNE, all of them. The difference was I caught it early this time. The news came out. We saw it. It was at like $5. So I think I spent like $6.20. I just grabbed 100 shares. The stock market's a giant biotech. You guys know we've been picking them up like that. As long as it doesn't have too much premium, I don't know anything about this. I think it's BS. I think they're all BS. I put $100, $600. If it goes down 50%, max I'll lose is $300. I at least own the equity. We even had a little mini lesson on this on stream today of why you don't really go for the options on these, but we got it. It was only up 8% when we bought it, and then it went from there. So I'll hold it. This play is probably going to get hyped throughout the days as people go crazy on anything medical as they have been. So that is the main reasoning behind that play. But I think tomorrow we're going to have a lot of fun with Boeing. That's probably going to be my primary focus, along with Twitter and then some of these social media stocks. So that being said, I'm also going to be looking at Facebook. They dropped a lot today. Again, they had some of that news there, but if there is any broad sweeping social media actions because of the election, and we don't know if it'll be directly at Twitter or whatever, but I think these guys could be in the crosshairs. So I'm going to be looking them. Amazon really fell. Again, tech. If tech starts to fall off, that could be one thing. It could also be a good time to sell premium here on some of these tech stocks because tech might just fall but stay in its range. So you could get some good premium. I do want to take advantage of that. You saw the banks up there, but now watch again, more growth stocks. Shopify dropped a lot. Those old puts we have, those came back to life. So watch them. This caught my eye because, again, coming in Thursday, Friday, this will be an opportunity for frogs. You guys have to, this is almost $100 intraday. You come bring that to Thursday, Friday, cheap premiums. If there is this type of rotation and volatility, you can get some decent flips, but don't go too crazy again. And if you have a small account, this isn't for you unless you've budgeted for it again. But anything, Roku's probably a little cheaper. We have those June plays that we're still holding, but again, they've caught my eye. They're a really big name in terms of the growth market because a lot of people flock to them, but they don't forget, they sell off. They move a lot. Roku's a little bit crazy, so watch them. I'm also going to be watching Snap, so I kind of hope social media gets hit because if Snapchat gets hit, I am looking to get some shares there for the long term. But same thing with Abivai. Abivai is getting close below 90, so I think I could justify anything below like 88. I'm down to buy on Abivai because that's when you start to see it like flop. 82, 80 would be nice, but I do want to get some shares of Abivai. But again, ex-dividend is 1 month away, I believe, or another 2 months, so you don't have to rush into it if you want this for the long term, especially if you're going after the dividend. You don't need to get FOMO, but watching those, like we said, Micron, and then TLT, finally, it's doing nothing. Watch for volatility. Don't get caught up for it, but I'm still watching it. Remember, TLT is going to snitch. Don't you worry about that. But I want to put it in a perspective from you guys. We're looking at these crazy charts. You've seen TLT. Let me switch up the time frame and tell me what you see. 50 days. It looks like a whole different company. Keep this in mind because this is how TLT usually does move. These are bonds. So that's why, this should change your expectations. Now you don't feel as much anxiety. When's it going to blow? When's it going to pop off? If you saw this chart, you'd be like, this thing does not move at all. So just relax, okay? But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're hydrated, healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need your armor on. I need the helmet shining, and I need you to focus on the core, baby. What are you good at? Tell me about your brand. Do you know what you do? Do you know what you not do? Do you know the plays you like? Do you know what do you like for your small account? What type of small account plays do you like? What kind of big account plays do you like? What kind of long term do you want, baby? Do you want the drip or not? Do you have the drip? Are you willing? Are you going to back down? The code loves you. I love you. I'm going to see you in the morning. Let's go.